Every time a month is over, I can't believe it. Like, we're already getting so close to Halloween. Code Orange, Halloween stuff's already at the stores. What is happening? June was quite the month. I honestly didn't have that great of a reading month. I read some books. I didn't read nearly as much as I wanted to. I think I'm back in my slump. There was also a lot of different things going on for me this month, and Love Island is back. I just didn't read as much as I should have this month, and that's okay.
For me, I think everything that I read were like books not on my TBR. Like, I just decided to randomly pick up some books that were getting me reading. And overall, I feel like I gave a lot of threes. Which is still good, solid, but I thought I was gonna love some of these, and I didn't as much as I thought. But today we're just gonna go over all of the ones we have read already and let you guys know our thoughts on them. So up first, I will go ahead and start with No Place Left to Hide by Megan Lally. This is one of my most anticipated reads of the year because I loved her other book that I read last year. And just like I thought, I did finish this, I think, in one sitting. This is the book where our main character and her friend are driving home and someone starts tailing them in an SUV. They have no idea who this person is, and they basically are getting terrorized the entire night. This driver claims that he wants to know the truth about something that happened in the past, so we're just trying to unpack everything that happened. This was another one that's super easygoing. Like, it's so easy to get drawn into it and want to finish it in one sitting. I did not want to put it down once I started it. I will say though, with this one, there were things that were very predictable, and I caught on to those so quickly. That did not happen to me with That's Not My Name by Megan Lally, so I loved that one a lot more. Even with me predicting some of the things though that were gonna happen, there were still some twists at the end, so I had a good time with it. I think I gave it a 3.5 because, like I said, that other one could not predict a thing, and this one was a little more foreshadowy, but still really good.
So we both decided to reread We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. We read this so freaking early on in our reading journey. I think this was like the book that kickstarted everything for us. But we wanted to reread it because the adaptation came out. We still haven't watched it yet, but it was crazy because when I was rereading this, I actually forgot like the main thing that happens. So I kind of felt like I was right there with the main character because, you know, she kind of forgets things too. And then bam, I remembered what happened, and it was crazy. I cannot wait to see this TV show. I know a lot of people say it's devastating. I still gave it a 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I think it is one of those books where you'll just enjoy it more if you don't know what's gonna happen. Because I remember when we first read it, we had no idea where it was gonna go.
I ended up giving it a 3-star this time around. I remembered everything that happened in the story, and I do think it's one of those that is good for like a one-time read. I enjoyed it. It just didn't have the same impact as it did the first time around. I did read my first Ellen Hilderbrand book this month, and it was The 5-Star Weekend. I didn't mind this book. I'm not mad that this was my first book by this author. We basically have our main character, Hollis, and she decides to put together this 5-star weekend where she invites 5 different girls from different eras or periods in her life, and she just brings them all together to enjoy this weekend. And I mean, I really enjoyed reading about the food and the activities that all the ladies were doing. It is more of a literary fiction. We're deep diving into their friendships and how everyone's connected and their relationships with each other. It was just a super wholesome and heartwarming read. It was a drama-filled, trauma-filled weekend, but I had a good time with it. It was a little bit more slower paced, so I think that's why I didn't give it 4 stars, but I gave it a 3.75.
So I got around to reading Cross My Heart by Megan Collins. I had such high hopes for this one because this is the one where a woman ends up getting this guy's wife's heart and a heart transplant, and then she starts kind of like fiending for him. It just didn't unfold the way that I was expecting. There was a big murder mystery happening throughout the entire book, and that just wasn't what I thought I was getting myself into. I thought it was going to be more about fiending for him and like how weird that is. I wanted more from that, and I was able to guess the pretty big twist early on, but I mean, I still was intrigued. I just was expecting a little bit more. There was a good amount of Taylor Swift references that I did like though. So
I read a book too this month that I thought I was gonna like more than I did, and it was The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. I loved the idea of this book. We basically have 2 exes who accidentally book the same tour bus, and it's taking them around the most romantic like places and cities. So I thought it was going to be a very dramatic, juicy reunion, and while it was a second chance romance, queer characters, amazing food descriptions, something about the story just missed the mark for me. It kind of felt all over the place. There was also like miscommunication. It was just a lot. Once I found out the reason they broke up in the first place, I kind of lost interest. It was one of those things. It's not my favorite. It felt very drawn out. I will say I loved One Last Stop though by Casey McQuiston. So this one just wasn't my favorite of theirs.
One that I ended up really loving was The Guncle by Stephen Rowley. I had been waiting to read this one and I'm so glad I finally got around to this. This one we're following Patrick and he's like the fun gay uncle, but he also is a pretty famous actor. It was kind of giving like if he had been on like a sitcom show like Friends or something, and then he kind of stopped doing things after that, but everyone still like knows him and he lives like this grand lifestyle. So he ends up taking care of his niece and nephew. Patrick was hilarious and I loved the fun and natural rapport he had with the kids. Typically I don't like kids in books, but I think they were written very well in this one. It had a nice mix of humor and heart with some emotional moments sprinkled in. So very good. I gave it a 4-star.
Next book I read was Before We Were Innocent by Ella Berman, and this gave very similar vibes to the 5-star weekend and our book club book for the month, just because same deal. We're following 3 friends and we're just getting deep into like their relationship and their friendship and everything that happened between them. In this one, the 3 friends go on a vacation in Greece and only 2 of them return alive. So it's a decade later, I believe, and basically the past just comes back to haunt them. So we're unpacking everything that happened that vacation in Greece, plus everything that's happening now in their lives. I did really enjoy it. Another one though, you have to be into literary fiction, I think, to enjoy it, because I know a lot of the reviews said that they thought it was going to be more of a mystery thriller, and that's why they didn't really love it, because it is really slow paced. So as long as you're aware of that before going in, I think it made for a good reading experience for myself. I gave it a 3.5, I believe.
I ended up randomly reading Everything I Never Told You from the same author that wrote Little Fires Everywhere. I did watch a little bit of Little Fires Everywhere and I really enjoyed that. The family ends up losing their daughter, and this is another one where I thought we were gonna like dive deep into, you know, what happened to their daughter and the things that led up to it, which I mean we did get some of that, but it was another one that was very literary fiction. We're going into each and every family member and their personal lives, and it's less about how the daughter actually died. I think if I went into it knowing that, maybe I would have liked it more, but I was just anticipating more of like the mystery thriller side of this. It was still very good. I gave it 3 stars. I think this would be great if you like literary fiction. I think we read a lot of good literary fiction.
We did. Because up next, we both read My Friends by Frederick Bachman. This was our Literal Besties book club book for the month. Pretty much same deal. Literary fiction about these 3 friends. It's basically just a heartfelt, bittersweet story about growing older, friendships, meeting new friends in unexpected places. I did really enjoy it. I've been wanting to read Beartown by this author because I've heard it's fantastic. So now that I know his writing style a little bit more, I think I would want to eventually get into that series.
I did like this one a lot more than Anxious People. His writing is fantastic and it really makes you stop and think, but this one was dragged out just a little bit too long for me. But I did find myself loving all of the characters and the found family of it all and just the overall life lessons. I gave it a 3.5.
I did too.
I ended up reading Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones. This is the $5 cafe book at Barnes & Noble right now. This one is about a little boy whose father ends up dying and then he ends up seeing his father later on, and we're just trying to understand what's happening with that. And this one definitely had a lot of deeper meaning behind it. It kind of felt all over the place to me, but I definitely know it is intended to be that way because we're kind of in this boy's mind and we're trying to figure out if something's going on with him or, what's actually happening. I still appreciated the themes. I just feel like it didn't fully click for me. So hopefully when you read it, you can help me out with some things.
Okay. I have been wanting to read something by this author already.
I think you would like it.
Really? Okay.
And then we could debrief together.
Last book I have, I'm actually still currently reading at the moment, and it is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. This is my first Lisa Jewell book, I think, which is absolutely crazy because she's a huge mystery thriller author. And I should have known because this was one of the book of the month finalists, I believe, of last year for book of the year, which is insane. But this was a super random book for me to pick up. My Libby audiobook hold became available this month, so I decided to just start it, and I'm genuinely so locked in. There's a lot happening. This is the one where we basically have 2 women that meet and they have the same birthday. So they automatically are like, oh, there's something there. It's kind of like I met a random person, but we have this connection. One of the ladies has her own podcast, and the other one thinks it would be worth it if she could get on the podcast and explain her life story. There's a lot more to it than that, but we basically now have these 2 women who are getting together every day. We're getting the podcast clips. So the audiobook is really amazing, but just know that I'm so wrapped into it right now and I cannot wait to see what happens. I'm very scared because I don't know who we can trust, but it's going really well so far.
Oh, I might have to read it.
I know, it's really good.
So those were all of the books that we read in June. Here's to hoping that July will be a little bit better with quality and quantity wise. These were still some solid reads though. I don't think I would say I hated any of these. I think they just weren't what I was anticipating, which is fine.
I'm excited to get started on July books though, and more into summer books.
I plan to pick all books that I think will be 5 stars
Really?
for July.
Okay, I didn't do that.
Well, I needed to do that, so.
That's pretty much it for today's video though. Make sure to join our Literal Besties book club if you haven't already. We will have that link in the description. We are going to be voting for our July book, but that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you guys next time. Do you know what I keep thinking about?
What?
Set the record straight. None of this is true. None of it is true. Never met the woman.
Jeez.
If you know what that's from, please comment.
I'm done.